Hi, my name is Ali from AllisonSpokes.ca, or perhaps you know me from Facebook as the Tarot Fairy. I was doing some searching online, trying to find an idea for a Halloween themed tarot reading that could be fun to offer my clients or just for myself for my own personal pleasure. And I came across this spread that I'm going to demonstrate for you today. I'm offering it as part of my promo that you might have seen my advertisements on Facebook or in your email if you subscribe to my email list. And maybe you're wondering, what is this about? What is she talking about? What is a Halloween tarot reading? Well, this tarot spread I found on dailytarotgirl.com and I really liked it because I thought it's not only really insightful and useful, but it's also really cute and fun and a little bit cheesy. And I loved that about it. I thought she did a really great job of making it fun and light while still allowing room for that powerful takeaway that you can get, that eureka moment that you can get from a really good tarot reading. So I thought that was really brilliant. So I'm going to demonstrate this reading here for you today using the Dreams of Gaia tarot deck. This spread has 6 cards, as you can see. Each one represents a different element of Halloween. So we have, for example, a costume card and a ghost card and a witch card. And I'll explain each one as we go along. Now, I'll just let you know that I made some minor changes from Daily Tarot Girl's original spread, and I'll explain that too as we come to it. But most of it is her original design. So how about I'm just going to dive right in and get started. So the first card here in the top left this is the costume card. So dressing up in costume is a Halloween tradition, and people always say leading up to Halloween, oh, what are you going to be? Who are you going to be this year? So that's what this card right here is. This is the costume card. Who are you going to be in the upcoming year, or who do you want to be? Okay, let's just flip this over. Okay, and the card I pulled is, let me just bring that closer. This card is the counselor. Now, the counselor is a person who really just wants to help others and someone who truly cares about the well-being of others, but also wants to maintain some healthy boundaries to avoid becoming too emotionally invested or to avoid being sucked into other people's drama. And the way the counselor does this, his primary role is to listen. The counselor it makes himself available to others. So he's available, he's approachable, he's an ear to listen to and a shoulder to cry on. And when I say listening, I don't mean that you just listen and stay silent. But what I mean is instead of offering advice, he will ask questions of the person who is seeking counsel so that they can come to their own conclusions and make their own decisions. And asking questions is just a really good technique. It's a good social skill to have that allows you to demonstrate that you care or that you take an interest in someone else um, rather than being the one with all the answers, the know-it-all, which can come across as a bit arrogant or judgmental or self-centered. So asking questions is a really good technique that the counselor employs. So we want to be someone, if we're going to be the counselor, if that's who we're going to be next year, we want to be someone who is seen as trustworthy and supportive. You also don't want to put yourself in a position where if if you offer advice, it's going to backfire, and now that person is saying, "Oh, I took your advice and it all went wrong, and now it's all your fault." And that just perpetuates the drama and pulls you into it. Now you're part of the problem rather than um, being part of the help. And we don't. That's not what we want to be. So if the counselor is someone who you want to be in the upcoming year, you probably are someone who is trying to distance yourself from the drama, especially if this is a role you want to play in your personal life. But if this is a role you are thinking about becoming in your professional life, maybe you already are a counselor or you work with people, say you're a teacher or a social worker or a police officer or someone like that. Maybe your goal is to stick to those professional boundaries. Maybe um, you want to avoid becoming too emotionally invested in your clients or in your students, but you still want to be approachable and available and supportive. So that's the counselor. That is the costume card. So the next card is one. This is where I made the biggest change to this spread. Daily Tarot Girl originally called this spread or this card in this position possessed. So, meaning what possesses you or what drives or motivates you. And there was something about that card that just didn't sit right with me. I don't know if it was just the name or what it was, but I did a few practice readings and I didn't like it. So I changed this card to magic spell or magic potion. The thing that you can cast on yourself that will make your next 12 months more successful. So let's see. What's our magic spell? Okay. I like this card. So, the magic spell we need to cast to make ourselves more successful is a spell that makes us more organized or more efficient or more on time with our deadlines. Um, yeah, that's what the Four of Air represents. So let's just say, for example, that you were looking back on the last 12 months and felt like, wow, I can't believe how much time has just flown by. And I feel like I've missed out on so many things. There were so many things that I wanted to do this year and I never did them. And now it's too late because summer's gone and or whatever the reasons might be. So if experiences are something that is important to you, then you're going to want to find some kind of calendar system and plan your year out as early as possible. Figure out all the dates that you want to go on vacation and what are your travel plans. Put your events, camping trips, visits with friends and family, whatever you want to do. Pick your dates, put them on the calendar and then figure out can you afford the time off? Do you have enough time off to cover you or does your schedule accommodate all those events and all those things that you want to do without putting yourself in a position where you are overexerting yourself or going to put yourself in a position where you burn out. Consider how much are all these trips and events going to cost you. What are the deadlines for deposits on hotels and campsites? How early do you have to book these things and pay for these things? How early do you have to purchase tickets? Write all these things in the calendar, including your deadlines. When do you have to pay for these things? And get them all there, all down so that you can see what's coming up and that you can prepare for them and put them into action rather than waiting for that, oh, someday I'm going to do this, or realizing like, oh, I really want to do this and I didn't know now the deadline's gone and I've missed my chance. So that's one magic spell. That's one way we could interpret this card as a magic spell. Maybe it wasn't experiences last year that was your shortfall, but maybe it was money. Maybe you found that um, you overspent last year, and now you're in a bit of debt, and you want to get back on track financially. So in this case, your magic spell would be to create a budget. So write down all your expenses, write down your savings goals, write down, how much debt you have to pay or how soon you have to pay it off, and get that all into a budget. Consider your income. What can you afford? Incorporate all those things. Create a weekly or monthly budget, whatever works best for you. And it's not a bad idea to look back and analyze where you overspent. Where was all your money going? Was it clothing, shopping, restaurants? Were you eating out more than you should? Could you save some money by eating at home? Sitting and adding up these numbers can often shock you into spending a bit more wisely. So if money is a concern, creating a budget and sticking to it, that's your magic spell. But you could look at it in other ways to incorporate organization and efficiency in your life. Perhaps, maybe you're a business owner and you found that you dropped the ball or you missed some opportunities last year or this past year. Were there more events you wanted to go to or wanted to host? Maybe you wanted to host some workshops or seminars. What about holiday sales or seasonal promotions? Were you prepared? Did you have everything organized? Did you have all the stock on your shelf at the right time of year? Were you ordering in time? Did you have all your promotional materials ready on time? Or were you scrambling at the last minute? Or maybe it's just your social media. Maybe your social media is falling behind or it's not looking as good as you'd like it to be. So what do you want it to look like? What do you want your Instagram page to look like? What do you want your Facebook page to look like? What days of the week are you available to sit down and work on that? How can you get better? Just first start with what you want it to look like, and then write down all the things you need to do to make that happen. Get it all out there. Schedule. There's tools out there to schedule your post. And then you can be consistent with your time as well as consistent with your brand. So that's the magic spell or the magic potion card. That's the key to being more successful in the upcoming year. So this card, third card, I just love this card. This may have been the card that sold me on this spread to begin with. This is the candy card, referring to the trick-or-treaters at Halloween. This card tells you how you can collect more candy or more sweetness in your life. So let's see what we got. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay, so the wisdom card. Let me just hold this up. So it's interesting that I pulled the wisdom card in this position, and this is why. This card tells me that the way to draw more sweetness or joy or happiness into our lives is to draw on our own experiences. So in a way, it's like this card is saying that we already have joy and sweetness and happiness in our life. That we can just look back and draw on our own past, our own experiences, and understand that we have the wisdom to let go of things that do not bring us joy and repeat or expand upon the things that do. So yeah, that's the wisdom card. That's the candy cards. That's good. That's kind of nice to hear. Yay, we're already happy. We already have a lot of candy in our life. Okay. So here, I'm going to this card. Now this card here is called the Haunting card. This card represents ghosts from our past that continue to haunt us and interfere with us. And they'll continue to do so if we don't make changes that will allow those ghosts to rest in peace. So let's see, what are our ghosts? Okay. So I just pulled the Self card reversed. So this card tells me that maybe for the past little while, you haven't really been true to yourself, that perhaps you've been a bit of a copycat, or blindly following others or doing as others do because maybe it's just because you want to fit in or feel accepted, or maybe it's just because you're lost and you don't know how to be you. Sometimes that's the case. So what you do is you mimic others, but you're feeling uncomfortable in this position. Like, you're starting to notice, you're starting to understand that something's not right and it's not sitting well with you. You're starting to feel itchy in your skin because it's not really your skin. You're wearing someone else's skin. And you aren't really sure what to do, or you're afraid that if you come out and show your true self, like, you're afraid of what others might think if you started expressing your true beliefs or your true opinions or what you really find interesting. This card might indicate that maybe you've been too much of a people pleaser in the past and you've been sacrificing too much of yourself for the sake of making other people happy. So this lack of identity or fear of exposing your true self is your ghost. And that's the ghost that's going to continue to haunt you if you don't do something about it. This is your unfinished business that you need to take care of so that this ghost can finally rest in peace. And the next card, this is the Graveyard card, or the Rest in Peace card. This is the action you need to take, the exorcism that's going to banish this ghost once and for all, and it's going to finally rest in peace. So what do we got? What's the key? How can we banish that ghost? Okay. So the key to banishing our ghost is the Nine of Fire. So looking at this card, first let me just say that the suit of fire is the suit of action, passion, energy, and creation. So right off the bat, we get an idea of what our solution is. So we can eliminate right away that this isn't about confronting our emotions or changing our thought patterns, but rather physically taking part in something or creating something. So, and if we go to the number, so that's number 9. If ones are new beginnings, then the 9 puts us at a level where we're approaching mastery. That this is a level where we have achieved a level of confidence in our skills and our abilities and our talents, so that we don't need approval of others. We just know that we're good at what we do. And this particular card represents doing something because we love it and because we know. We have the confidence to know that we're good at it. We don't need other people to tell us that we're good. We don't care if other people don't share an interest or have no use for the thing we create or what service we offer. Um, so I think what this card is saying, the advice from this card is to focus on your talents or your hobbies or your pastimes. This could be something that you do purely for pleasure, simply because you enjoy doing it, or it could be something that you do for profit. Um, it could be a job that you have you have a job skill that you're really, really good at, and you really enjoy doing it, and you take a lot of pride in it. Or it could be a hobby or an interest that you've turned into a business. Maybe it doesn't make a lot of money, but maybe it at least pays for itself. So that's great. So, but regardless of whether it's for pleasure or for profit, it's not all about the money. This is mostly about doing something that makes you proud, that you take pride in, and that you're happy with your accomplishments. So if you've been hiding this part of yourself for any reason, it's time to come out of the closet and let people know that is this is what you do and you love doing it and it's part of who you are. And if you find yourself saying, I don't have a thing, I don't know what my thing is, I don't know what I'm good at, then the advice of this card is saying, well then play, experiment, try some new hobbies, take some classes, find your thing, figure out what it is that you love to do, and start practicing, start honing those skills and to a point where you can become really good at it. And that's going to take your focus off of what other people think. Just when you find something you really enjoy, you start to care less and less about what other people think of it, because it's that joy that takes over. And it's going to allow you to find your voice and break out of this need to please others or think as they think or do as they do. So that's focusing on something we're good at, something we love to do. That's how we're going to banish that ghost. Okay, we have one more card. This is the last card. And this card is named Monsters and Goblins. So Daily Tarot Girl described this card as fears we're ready to face, but I don't know if it's as much that we're ready to face them as that by revealing this card, we get an idea of what monsters we're going to have to confront sometime in the next 12 months. So let's see what our biggest monster is that we're going to have to face. Okay. Aha. So the Queen of Water is our big monster, and this ties in pretty perfectly with the rest of our story, with the Self card and then the Nine of Fire to follow. The Queen of Water represents those people who in the past we've tried so hard to impress. That these people or person, the Queen of Water, may have liked it better when we did whatever they said or liked whatever they liked. And now that we're coming out of our shell, the little turtles there, we're coming out of our shell, we're exposing our vulnerable bits in front of this monster who's casting her stares of judgment upon us. So we're coming out of our shell and starting to express our own beliefs and opinions and interests. And there are people that maybe aren't happy about that. Maybe you were right, your fears are validated, that, yeah, there's people who might not like this part of you. They're going to challenge you. They're really going to challenge you because maybe the only reason they do that is because they've never seen this side of you. So maybe they're just testing you and pushing you to make sure that this new you is, well, at least new to them, new you is who you say it is, and that your thoughts and your beliefs and your interests are truly genuine. So that that might be as scary as it gets, but you might encounter some people who take it a little further and they start using their love as a weapon. They might say things like, if you don't comply with their expectations of you, they're going to withhold their love or leave you, or meaning, yeah, maybe they don't want to be friends with you anymore. And you know what? If that's their attitude, then they weren't really true friends to begin with, and you're probably better off without them. So this is your big monster. This is what's coming up. This is what you have to face. And so when facing this monster, put your armor on. I love the little critters here, the crab and the turtle, because these creatures, they're soft and vulnerable on the inside, but they wear their armor to protect them. So don't be afraid to be who you are, and don't let your emotions, like don't let the grief of losing the friendship or other fears or other emotions that come up be an excuse for making bad decisions or crawling back into your shell. Stand up for yourself, and one way or another, this monster will back down. So that's the Monsters and Goblins card. And there you go. That is the Halloween tarot reading that I'm offering as part of my special promotion until the end of October. If you like this video, like what you saw, and you're interested in your own personal custom Halloween tarot reading, you can come and see me in person by booking an appointment on my website, AlisonSpokes.ca, or by using the Book Now button on my Facebook page. If you live too far away, don't fret. You can still receive a personal Halloween reading via email. I just send your request to tarotfairy@AlisonSpokes.ca. I love doing email tarot readings. I just love them. They're my favorite readings to do. So don't feel weird or hesitate. I love doing them. They're my favorite way to do readings. I'll just let you know, I do have to charge a little bit extra for the email readings, just simply because it takes a little bit more time to type it all out and upload photos and whatnot. But I truly love to do them. I truly love to do them. So if I have piqued your interest, and yeah, if you're curious about what the cards have to say this Halloween, I'll include all my contact links in the show notes below. So yeah, that's it. Have a happy Halloween, everyone, and I hope to hear from you soon. Cheers.